Hi, I'm Tom Bradford. I'm a lawyer, and in this video I'm going to talk about my clients' successes on the Innovator visa. We've also had a number of successes on the Startup visa. So these have primarily been in relation to fintech, edtech and medtech businesses. And you can check out my websites linked below my blog, where I've got some testimonials and success stories about the details of my clients' journeys. We have also had clients doing digital platforms. There is a requirement for innovation and scalability. Those are the two key criteria that I would focus on in addition to viability. And really, for a business idea to be scalable, it's got to involve something more than you just running a consultancy, for example, something which is limited by the number of hours you have in any particular day. So a lot of the businesses are SaaS businesses, in other words, software as a service businesses. In terms of the success rate, I mean, we've had a 100% success rate so far. Of course, that's not an indicator of future success, and these are all matters which, of course, are considered. Our clients are all very high caliber. I would say that the standard for the Innovator visa and Startup visa, for that matter, is higher than that was previously required under the Tier 1 Entrepreneur visa. And so that's an important point to take into account. In terms of success, though, what do we mean by success, especially in relation to settlement and ILR? That's really the key factor when considering success. And certainly with all of my clients, I am helping them where they want to achieve ILR. Not all of them necessarily want to do that. It might just be setting up a branch in the UK, but where they want to achieve that, I'm helping them to do that. And I would say the most important point to bear in mind is the requirement for significant achievements under the business plan. Now, the really important thing here you've got to bear in mind is that there's got to be achievable deliverables. So I think there's an opportunity here, but also a trap. So the potential trap is if you say effectively in your business plan, which is assessed at the end of the 3 years, that you're going to change the world and achieve a revenue of 10 million, and you have not done either of those things. You may have made very significant strides, but you haven't got to that level. Then you have failed against your business plan, and you are assessed against your own business plan. That was the test and the threshold that you set yourself. So what I would say is bear in mind that your deliverables should be achievable, even if your business is ambitious and your business plans are ambitious, as they no doubt should be. So I think it's a case of balancing the need in the business plan to show innovation, to show scalability, with having achievable deliverables, which you might feel you can achieve even in a worst case scenario, or that you can't. That it takes you longer to start your business, longer to get traction than you initially expected. And one of my entrepreneur friends told me that when you're starting out in business, you should assume that it takes twice as long than you expect to get to your goals, and that it costs twice as much to do so. So I think that's a good thing to bear in mind when setting out the deliverables in the business plan. If you do want help with the process and a review of your business plan, I'll be happy to look at that. I don't deal with the commercial side of things, but I do advise on the legal aspects. And the other important point, I think, in relation to the business plan, and this definitely relates to your success, particularly when it comes to success in getting to indefinite leave to remain, is the research and development criteria. So of the 7 success criterion, the most popular, I would say, and most achievable generally are the research and development criteria, that you do significant research and development, and then you apply for intellectual property protection. Now, I think this really overlaps significantly with the significant achievement that you need to show. In that, part of those achievements will be the research and development and your protection of IP. So there's a big overlap here. And what you should bear in mind is that really within the guidance and legislation, there is a link between the research and development you've got to do and your application for IP. So it's research and development leading to, one might say, the application for IP. Therefore, a plan in which you're researching and developing your product with your users that culminates in a registration of a design, and if not that, then an application for a patent, can often be a sensible way forward. Although software itself can't generally be patented, you can register a design in a user interface. Each case will require specific legal advice, so please feel free to speak with me about this before you finalize your strategy. The next point is the investment of 50,000. So when we talk about success, particularly success for indefinite leave to remain, you'll need to have not just invested it in the old tier 1 entrepreneur sense, but actually have spent it in actively pursuing the business plan that you have set out. So I think the best way to do this is to have to look ahead and think, okay, what is going to be the spend, the innovation spend, if you like, say on building a digital platform, and then you can identify which tranche of payment you're going to point to, if you like, at the end of the period as being the relevant investment, and that may well be the spend on the development of the digital platform. And then the last point I just wanted to mention is that of all the cases we've had, both successful innovator and startup visa categories, one of the really encouraging things has been the processing time has been so short from the point at which you submit your biometrics, so your fingerprint and photo. The applications tend to be considered within a week. We had one case which took longer because that was actually for a dependent, so child of the main applicant, and there was a hold-up which was just due to a sort of admin anomaly on the UKVI side. But apart from that, the processing times have all been very, very quick. If you would like to speak with me, I'd be delighted to help you with an application if you're considering this route. So the last point I just wanted to add is in relation to this list. So these are the settlement endorsement requirements. So when we're talking about success, really we need to be looking ahead and planning for success at the ILR stage, as well as just getting the visa at the beginning. And you can see here that, let me just highlight some of the important ones. The applicant has shown significant achievements judged against the business plan assessed in the previous endorsement, so that's very important. The next one, the applicant's business is registered with Companies House and the applicant is listed as a director and member of that business. And then the business is active and trading. Now, trading means buying and selling means you're going to have to have made some sales at the relevant point. There's no specific revenue targets, but as I say, other than those you actually set out yourself in the business plan. So I would just highlight that sales will need to have been made and your MVP will need to have been built. And the next point is that the business appears to be sustainable for at least the following 12 months based on its assets and expected income weighed against its current and planned expenses. So this is important, and it's a point that people don't tend to look at. So when you're getting towards the 3-year point, you need to be thinking about what the expenses are going to be in year 4, even though that's not within the visa term, and then planning ahead for that. The other one I highlight here is that the applicant has demonstrated an active key role in the day-to-day management and development of the business. So an active day-to-day, active key role in the day-to-day management and development of the business. In other words, you can't be a passive investor. And I must say that so far, the applications that have been quickest and most efficient are those where it's one applicant and one business, and no more. I think where you have 2 applicants, we are acting for a couple of for teams who are applying together. But the revenue figures they're looking at are really pretty significant over the coming years, and so they'll be able to meet other success criteria and employment success criterion if they wish. But for the vast majority of cases, I would say that one applicant, one business is the right way, is the sensible approach in most cases. And you can't just join a business, you can't piggyback off someone else's idea. You have got to, as the innovator, you have got to be bringing the idea. So I'd be careful about a situation where you're considering joining someone in the UK. A, you can't join an active and trading business, full stop. But B, if you're looking at joining a startup, you have got to be bringing something to the table. You've got to be adding value, and you've got to be part of the core delivery of the project.